Sitting at the kitchen table, the stack of notes before me felt like a tangible representation of my inner turmoil. I had just completed another meticulous review of my upcoming speech, my eyes tracing over the words that I had read, reread, and reread, searching for any flaws that might undermine my arguments. Yet in these 3 pages of carefully constructed notes, I found not only a solid foundation for each of my points, but also a preemptive counter for every argument I anticipated might come my way. With a mixture of dread and determination, I acknowledged the significance of what I was about to do. Sure, I may not win the argument, but at least with this speech, I couldn't lose. Or so I thought, allowing myself a brief moment to muse over what I actually had to lose. That thought alone brought an involuntary smile to my face. No, the stakes were too high. I couldn't dare risk it. Content with the actual words, my thoughts shifted towards delivery and timing. If I laid out my case to Dave slowly, perhaps it might sink into his logical mind, and he might see my need and agree. But that slow pace would also grant him the time to mount counter-arguments. After knowing him for 18 years, I was well aware that in a battle of logic, he would win. So slow and steady was out of the question. That left my preferred option: shock and awe. Hit him hard, hit him fast, and secure his agreement before he had the time to fully process everything. Was his agreement critical? Absolutely. Without it, nothing was going to happen. That was the risk-free part. Nervously, I stood up and pottered about the kitchen, trying to distract myself from the pain I knew I was about to inflict. Dave didn't deserve any of this, but without taking this step, I wouldn't get what I believed I deserved. I had to do it, and I assuaged my conscience by reminding myself that he had forced me into this corner. Ergo, it was his fault. My gaze wandered around the kitchen, trying to remember the last time I'd been there alone on a weekday. It had to be at least 6 months. Up until then, it had always been me getting home first, greeting the kids when they got home from school. Why had that changed? Simple. His name was J.N., John, my boss, who was drafted in from another office 7 months ago. In the beginning, John and I maintained a standard boss-underling relationship, but that changed when he asked me to work late one day. After finishing the work, he thanked me by taking me out for dinner, and we discovered we had much in common, despite him being 8 years my junior and single. We shared interests in the arts, movies, and fashion, and slowly the compliments about my work, and eventually my looks, increased. Flattered both as a proud employee and as a woman, I was caught in the whirlwind of attention. John's complaints about being lonely or hating to eat by himself led me to skip dinner with my family more frequently, discreetly going to restaurants with him, then movies and shows. I covered it at home by saying a promotion was in the offing, and that I wanted to stand out. Dave, my husband, supported my newfound ambition, unaware of the reality. I knew it was wrong, but after 17 years of being a selfless mother and wife, I felt I deserved something for myself. Yet, as the arrangement with John continued, I saw the toll it took on my family, especially as Dave took on more responsibilities at home, reconnecting with the kids in my absence. The realization of what I was risking hit me hard, but by then, the situation had spiraled beyond my control. As I stood there in the kitchen, the weight of my decisions pressing down on me, I knew it was time to face the music. It was time to confront Dave with my plan, hoping against hope that my carefully laid out speech would somehow preserve the fragments of our life together. But deep down, I feared the irreversible damage already done, and the thought of facing him filled me with an overwhelming dread. The dread gnawed at me as I paced the kitchen, each step echoing the tumultuous beat of my heart. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, marking the passage of time with a relentless precision that seemed to mock my growing apprehension. In these moments of solitude, the reality of what I was about to do crystallized into a sharp, jagged edge, a weapon I was willingly wielding against the very foundation of my marriage. I had convinced myself that this was the only way, that the ends justified the means. Yet, as the hour drew nearer, the justifications and rationalizations that had once seemed so solid began to crumble, leaving me standing on the precipice of an abyss. The potential fallout from my actions was not just a risk to my relationship with Dave, but threatened to unravel the very fabric of our family life. The sound of a key turning in the lock jolted me from my reverie. My breath hitched in my throat as the door swung open, and Dave stepped into the kitchen. The familiarity of his presence, once a source of comfort and security, now felt like an accusation, a reminder of the betrayal I was about to commit. He looked tired, the lines on his face deeper than I remembered, but there was a light in his eyes as he smiled at me, a smile that I was about to extinguish. "Hey," he greeted, his voice carrying a warmth that belied the coldness settling in my stomach. "You're home early." I nodded, struggling to find my voice. "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about something." Dave's smile faded slightly, replaced by a look of concern. "Is everything okay?" How could I answer that? Was anything okay? With a deep breath, I gestured to the chair opposite me. "Please, sit down. We need to discuss something important." As Dave settled into the chair, I could see the questions forming in his eyes, the confusion and worry. He had always been able to read me like an open book, but today I needed that book to remain closed, at least until I could deliver the speech that I had rehearsed so many times in my mind. I opened my mouth to speak, to unleash the torrent of words I had prepared, but they caught in my throat. "How do you tell your husband of nearly 2 decades that you've contemplated stepping outside the bounds of your marriage? How do you explain that the man he trusts you to work late with is the same man you've grown dangerously close to?" The silence stretched between us, becoming a chasm too wide to cross with mere words. Dave reached across the table, covering my hand with his. "Whatever it is, we can work through it. We always do." Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes, a testament to the conflict raging within me. Dave's faith in us, in our ability to overcome any obstacle, only served to deepen my guilt. I withdrew my hand, not trusting myself to speak without revealing the turmoil in my heart. "I've been feeling trapped," I began, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "Trapped in a routine that doesn't allow me to be who I really am. I love you, and I love our family, but there's a part of me that feels unfulfilled." Dave's expression hardened, the lines of confusion and hurt etching themselves deeper into his features. "Are you saying you're not happy with our life together?" "It's not that simple," I replied, scrambling to regain control of the narrative that was slipping away from me. "I've been offered an opportunity to explore a different aspect of myself, one that I feel could bring me a sense of fulfillment I've been missing." "And this opportunity," Dave said, his voice steady but cold, "does it involve John?" The mention of John's name was like a spark igniting a powder keg. I realized then that there was no turning back, that the path I had chosen was fraught with danger and destruction. But I had convinced myself that this was the only way to find what I was looking for, even if it meant risking everything I held dear. "Yes," I admitted, the word feeling like a betrayal. "But it's not what you think. It's just, I need this, Dave. I need to feel alive again." Dave stood abruptly, pushing his chair back with a force that made me flinch. "You need to feel alive? And what does that make me? What does that make our children? Are we just obstacles in your quest for fulfillment?" I stood as well, desperation clawing at my throat. "No, of course not. You and the kids are everything to me. That's why I need to do this, so I can be a better wife, a better mother." The words sounded hollow, even to my own ears, a poor justification for the selfishness that had led me to this moment. Dave's gaze was a mix of disbelief and sorrow, a mirror reflecting the depth of the pain I was causing. "I can't believe you're asking me to accept this," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I can't believe you're willing to throw away everything we've built together for what? A fling with your boss?" "It's not a fling," I protested, even as I felt the ground crumbling beneath me. "It's about finding a part of myself that's been lost. Can't you understand that?" Dave shook his head, the finality in his gesture cutting through me like a knife. "I understand that I don't know who you are anymore, and I'm not sure I want to." With those words, he turned and walked out of the kitchen, leaving me alone with the shattered pieces of our life together. The speech I had prepared, the arguments and counter-arguments, all of it was useless now. In my quest to find myself, I had lost the most important parts of my life. Of disbelief and sorrow, a reflection of the chasm that had opened up between us. A better wife and mother doesn't seek fulfillment in the arms of another man, Lisa. A better partner doesn't betray trust and break vows for the sake of feeling alive. How can you not see the damage you're proposing to do? His words cut through me, laying bare the selfishness of my justifications. In my quest for something more, I had failed to see the cost of my desires, the potential wreckage of our shared life. The speech I had rehearsed, with its carefully constructed arguments and counter-arguments, crumbled under the weight of Dave's simple, heartfelt plea. I thought I had it all figured out, I stammered, the certainty with which I had approached this conversation evaporating. I believed I could manage this without hurting anyone, but I see now how wrong I was. Dave shook his head, a gesture not of anger but of deep, profound disappointment. You're talking about our life, our family, as if it's a problem to be managed, Lisa. But these are real emotions, real bonds that you're willing to gamble with. I need to know, is it worth it? Is this affair with John worth losing everything we've built together? The use of the word affair struck me like a physical blow. Despite the emotional intimacy I had developed with John, I had not crossed that physical line, clinging to that technicality as if it absolved me of my betrayal. Yet in Dave's eyes, in his heart, I had already crossed a line from which there was no return. No, I whispered, the realization dawning on me like a cold dawn. No, it's not worth it. I thought I needed something more, but I see now that I was risking everything for a fleeting sense of fulfillment. I was so focused on what I thought I was missing that I lost sight of what I already have. Dave's expression softened slightly, but the hurt remained. I don't know if we can come back from this, Lisa. You've shown me a side of you I didn't know existed, a side that's willing to put our family at risk for your own desires. How can I trust you again after this? Tears streamed down my face, the finality of his words sinking in. I don't know, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn back your trust, to show you that I value our life together more than any fleeting desire. Please give me the chance to make this right. We stood there, in the kitchen that had been the heart of our home, the silence between us a testament to the uncertainty of our future. In that moment, I realized the true cost of my actions, the depth of the hurt I had caused to the person who had been my partner, my confidant, my love for nearly 2 decades. I need time, Lisa, Dave said finally, his voice heavy with emotion. Time to process this, to figure out if I can move past it. I can't make any promises, but I'm willing to try. For our family's sake, for the love we once shared, I'm willing to try. As he walked away, leaving me standing alone in the kitchen, I knew that the road ahead would be long and fraught with difficulty. But for the first time, I faced it with a clear understanding of what I stood to lose and a determination to do whatever it took to rebuild the trust and love that had once defined our marriage. In that moment of clarity, I vowed to become the partner Dave deserved, to be the mother my children needed. The journey to redemption would be mine to make, step by painful step, with the hope that, in time, we could find our way back to each other. The following days were a blur of emotions, each moment stretching into an eternity of introspection and regret. Dave had moved into the guest room, a physical manifestation of the emotional distance between us. The silence in our home was deafening, broken only by the mundane interactions necessary to maintain some semblance of normalcy for our children. They were aware something had shifted, their once vibrant home now shrouded in a palpable tension they couldn't understand. I threw myself into the role of a penitent spouse with a fervor born of desperation. I read articles, consulted therapists, and joined online support groups for individuals who had jeopardized their marriages. Each step was an attempt to arm myself with the knowledge and tools needed to mend what I had broken. Yet, with each passing day, the weight of Dave's unresolved hurt and the uncertainty of our future pressed down on me, a constant reminder of the potential cost of my actions. Dave, for his part, was stoic. He engaged with the children, maintained his responsibilities around the house, and even managed brief conversations with me. Yet there was a detachment in his demeanor, a protective barrier he had erected to guard his wounded heart. It was in his eyes, the way they would skirt mine whenever we spoke, as if he feared what he might find in my gaze. 2 weeks after our confrontation, Dave agreed to attend couples therapy. It was a glimmer of hope in the darkness. a sign that perhaps not all was lost. Our sessions were emotionally charged, each one a journey through the pain and betrayal to the underlying love and commitment that had defined our marriage. It was during these sessions that I fully confronted the depth of my selfishness, the realization that my search for more was a reflection of my own insecurities, a fear of being deemed inadequate, both to myself and to those I loved. The therapy sessions were a crucible, transforming our relationship in ways I hadn't anticipated. We learned to communicate again, to really listen to each other's fears, desires, and dreams. It was a painful process, stripping away the layers of hurt and misunderstanding, but beneath it all, we discovered the resilient bond of our shared history and love. Dave began to open up, sharing his fears of inadequacy, of not being enough to satisfy my needs. It was a revelation to me, this vulnerability he had hidden beneath a veneer of strength. For my part, I shared my own fears, the realization that my actions were a misguided attempt to validate my worth, to prove that I was still desirable, still vibrant, despite the creeping doubts of middle age. It was during one of these sessions that Dave reached across the divide, taking my hand in his for the first time since our confrontation. It was a small gesture, but in that moment, it felt monumental, a tangible sign of the slow, painstaking progress we were making towards healing our marriage. Months passed, and slowly the fabric of our family began to mend. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments of doubt and tears, but with each obstacle we grew stronger, more committed to the future we were rebuilding together. The guest room was once again empty, a symbolic reclaiming of the intimacy we had lost. Our journey wasn't just about recovering from my betrayal, it was about rediscovering each other, learning to appreciate the depth and complexity of our relationship in ways we had taken for granted. We found joy in the small moments, the everyday interactions that had once seemed mundane, now imbued with a newfound significance. As we emerged from the shadow of my actions, our family found a new rhythm, a harmony born of struggle and perseverance. Our children noticed the change, the return of laughter and warmth to our home. Dave and I knew that the scars of the past would always be a part of us, but they no longer defined us. Instead, they were a testament to our capacity for forgiveness, for growth, and for love. Looking back on that tumultuous period, I realized that the journey to healing had been as much about self-discovery as it was about repairing my marriage. I had learned the value of contentment, of finding fulfillment in the life I had, rather than chasing an elusive ideal of happiness. I had learned that love, in its truest form, is not just about passion and desire, but about commitment, sacrifice, and the courage to face our darkest fears together. Our marriage had been tested, but in the end, we emerged stronger, more deeply connected than we had ever been. The road ahead was uncertain, as all futures are, but we faced it together, hand in hand, with a sense of hope and a belief in the enduring power of love. In the renewed quiet of our life, the seasons changed around us, each bringing its own rhythm and beauty, echoing the gradual healing of our family. The therapy sessions became less frequent, transitioning from a necessity for survival to a tool for growth. Dave and I started to invest in our shared interests again, finding joy in the activities that had first drawn us together. We went hiking, attended concerts, and explored new hobbies as a couple. It was as if we were dating again, rediscovering the nuances of each other's personalities that had been overshadowed by routine and complacency. Our children, sensitive barometers of our emotional climate, thrived in the renewed stability. Their laughter, once a rare sound in the tension-filled atmosphere of our home, became the soundtrack of our days. They were resilient, adapting to the changes with a grace that humbled me. Their forgiveness, though never explicitly sought, was evident in their easy smiles and the way they sought us out, sharing their lives with us without reservation. As for John, he became a ghost of the past, a specter whose presence had once threatened to unravel everything I held dear. The clarity of hindsight revealed the shallowness of what I had mistaken for a deep connection. I realized that my vulnerability had made me an easy target for his attentions, a fact that filled me with a mixture of anger and pity. I learned that he had left the company shortly after Dave and I began therapy, a departure that went unnoticed in the grand scheme of our rebuilding efforts. His absence from my life became just another step towards healing, a fading scar that no longer held any power over me. One evening, as Dave and I sat on the porch watching the sunset, he turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Do you ever think about how close we came to losing all of this?" he asked, gesturing to the home we had built together. I nodded, the gravity of his words settling around us. "Every day," I admitted. "It's what keeps me grounded, reminds me never to take what we have for granted." He squeezed my hand, a gesture that had regained its familiarity and comfort. "I'm proud of us, for not giving up, for fighting for our family." "I am too," I replied, leaning my head on his shoulder. "I'm sorry for the pain I caused, but in a way I'm grateful for the wake-up call. It forced us to confront issues we had been ignoring, to grow stronger together." Dave nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "I guess sometimes you have to go through the storm to appreciate the calm that follows." As night fell around us, wrapping our home in a blanket of stars, I reflected on the journey we had undertaken. The road to redemption was paved with humility, forgiveness, and a relentless commitment to each other. Our marriage, once teetering on the brink of collapse, had become a testament to the resilience of love, a beacon of hope for the future. In the quiet moments, I often thought about the person I had been, the choices I had made, and the lessons I had learned. The experience had irrevocably changed me, carving deep grooves of empathy, understanding, and gratitude into my soul. I had learned the value of introspection, of facing my fears and insecurities head-on, rather than seeking validation from external sources. Our family had emerged from the crucible of my betrayal not unscathed, but undeniably stronger, more connected. We had learned to communicate openly, to support each other through challenges, and to celebrate our successes with a newfound appreciation for the fragility and beauty of life. Looking ahead, I saw not a smooth path free of obstacles, but a journey we were equipped to navigate together, fortified by the trials we had overcome. The love that had once seemed threatened by the folly of my actions had become our guiding light, a force that bound us together with unbreakable bonds. In the end, the greatest lesson I learned was that true fulfillment doesn't come from the pursuit of an idealized version of happiness, but from cherishing the imperfect, beautiful reality of the life we build with those we love. This newfound understanding shaped the way I approached life. The fear of inadequacy that had once driven me to seek validation outside my marriage had diminished, replaced by a confidence rooted in the knowledge that I was loved for who I was, not for some idealized version of myself. This shift wasn't instantaneous, nor was it without its moments of doubt, but it was real and profound. It changed not just my relationship with Dave, but also how I interacted with the world around me. In this period of growth, Dave and I became more involved in our community. We volunteered at local events, supported causes that were important to us, and built relationships with our neighbors. These activities brought a sense of purpose and belonging that I hadn't realized I was missing. They allowed us to step outside of ourselves, to see the broader impact of our actions, and to contribute to something larger than our individual desires. Our efforts to rebuild our marriage also had a ripple effect on our friends and family. They witnessed our struggle, our commitment to healing, and the transformative power of forgiveness. Our story became one of hope for others facing their own challenges, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is a path forward if you're willing to walk it together. Dave and I began hosting gatherings at our home again, something we had stopped during the tumult of our crisis. These occasions were marked by laughter, shared stories, and a sense of community. They were a celebration of resilience, of the joy that can be found on the other side of pain. One such evening, as our friends and family mingled in the warm glow of our backyard lights, I caught Dave's eye across the room. There was a silent communication between us, a shared gratitude for the presence of each person there and for the journey that had brought us to this moment. It was a look that spoke of love, not just the passionate love that had first drawn us together, but a deeper, more enduring love, forged in the crucible of our shared experiences. As the evening wound down, Dave and I found ourselves alone, sitting under the stars just as we had on that pivotal night months ago. "It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?" Dave mused, his voice reflective. It has, I agreed, my head resting on his shoulder, but I wouldn't change it. Not really. It taught us so much about ourselves, about each other. It brought us here, to this place of understanding and connection. Dave nodded, his hand finding mine in the darkness. I used to think love was about never having to face challenges, but I've come to realize it's about facing them together, growing through them, and coming out stronger on the other side, I added, feeling his agreement in the gentle squeeze of his hand. The path to healing our marriage had been long and fraught with uncertainty, but it had led us to a deeper, more meaningful connection. We had learned that love is not a static entity, but a dynamic force that grows and changes with us. It requires nurture, patience, and above all, a willingness to face the challenges that life throws in our path together. As we sat there under the vast expanse of the night sky, I felt a profound sense of peace. The journey had not been easy, but it had been worth it. We had found our way back to each other, not as the same people who had lost their way, but as individuals who had grown, evolved, and learned to love each other in a deeper, more meaningful way. Our story was not just one of betrayal and pain, but of redemption, resilience, and the enduring power of love. It was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of hope, a possibility for renewal and growth. And for that, I was profoundly grateful. In the stillness of the evening, our conversation meandered to the future, to dreams not yet dreamt and paths not yet taken. There was an understanding between us that, while the past would always be a part of our story, it would not dictate the chapters yet to be written. We were co-authors of our journey, equipped with the lessons of yesterday to navigate the uncertainties of tomorrow. Our discussions about the future were filled with a cautious optimism. We talked about traveling to places we had always wanted to visit, experiencing cultures and landscapes far removed from our own. These plans were not just about the destinations themselves, but about the shared experiences, the memories we would create together, reinforcing the bonds we had worked so hard to rebuild. We also spoke of our children, of the hopes and dreams we harbored for them. Watching them grow and find their own paths in life brought a mixture of pride and apprehension. We were determined to guide them with the wisdom we had gained, to prepare them for the world, while giving them the space to make their own mistakes and learn their own lessons. Our journey had taught us the value of resilience, of the strength that comes from facing adversity and emerging stronger on the other side. We hoped to instill these values in our children, to equip them with the tools they would need to navigate their own challenges. In the quiet spaces between our words, there was a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the second chance we had been given, for the love that had endured through the storm, and for the future that lay before us, ripe with potential. We had learned that happiness was not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be savored, with all its twists and turns. Our commitment to each other had deepened in ways we could not have imagined. We understood now that love was not just about the good times, but about standing together in the face of life's inevitable challenges. It was about choosing each other, day after day, with all the imperfections and flaws, with all the beauty and grace. As we made plans for the future, we were mindful of the lessons of the past. We knew that challenges would arise, that there would be moments of doubt and fear, but we also knew that we had built a foundation strong enough to withstand them. Our love, tested by fire, had emerged not weakened, but fortified. The stars above us were a testament to the vastness of the universe, to the infinite possibilities that lay before us. In that vastness, our troubles seemed small, our love a beacon shining brightly in the darkness. We were two souls, intertwined by fate, journeying through life hand in hand, heart to heart. As the night deepened, we lingered in the comfort of each other's presence, reluctant to let go of the moment. There was a sense of completeness, of having come full circle from the brink of despair to the heights of joy. Our story was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is light, there is hope, and there is love. And so, under the canopy of the night sky, we made a silent vow to cherish each moment, to face the future with courage and love, and to never forget the journey that had brought us back to each other. Our love story, with all its imperfections, was a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that had survived the greatest test and emerged stronger, more beautiful, and more profound. As the seasons continued their endless cycle, our family found its rhythm in this new chapter of our lives. The scars of the past had faded into the background, not forgotten but transformed into signposts of our journey. We had learned the art of forgiveness, not just of each other, but of ourselves. It was a forgiveness born of understanding, a recognition that we are all flawed, all stumbling through life doing the best we can with the knowledge and emotions at our disposal at any given moment. This understanding brought a new level of compassion to our interactions, not just with each other, but with those around us. We became more patient, more willing to listen, and slower to judge. Our home, once a battleground of hurt and misunderstanding, became a sanctuary of peace and acceptance. Our children, now a bit older, began to embark on their own journeys. Watching them navigate the complexities of life with the resilience and strength they had observed and learned from us was a source of immense pride. They had seen firsthand the power of love and commitment, the importance of working through difficulties rather than avoiding them. This knowledge, we hoped, would serve them well in their own relationships and challenges. In our community, we found new ways to contribute and connect. We started a small group for couples navigating the challenges of marriage, sharing our story as a testament to the fact that even when things seem irreparable, there is hope. This group became a place of healing, not just for the participants, but for us as well. Each story shared, each obstacle overcome, reinforced the lessons we had learned and reminded us of the progress we had made. Professionally, I found a new sense of purpose. The journey I had embarked on, with all its pain and discovery, inspired me to help others. I trained as a counselor, specializing in relationship therapy. It was a way to give back, to use my experiences to guide others through their darkest moments toward the light of understanding and reconciliation. This work was not just a job, it was a calling, a way to transform the pain of my past into a beacon of hope for others. Dave, too, found new meaning in his work. He became more involved in mentoring younger colleagues, sharing his wisdom not just on professional matters, but on the importance of balance, of nurturing the relationships that matter most. His approachability and genuine care for others earned him respect and admiration, and he found fulfillment in the positive impact he was making in the lives of others. As a couple, we continued to explore the world together, our travels imbued with a sense of adventure and gratitude. Each destination offered not just a change of scenery, but a reminder of the vastness of life, the endless possibilities for growth and discovery. These experiences brought us closer, each adventure a thread woven into the tapestry of our shared life. Looking back on the journey that brought us to this point, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons learned, for the love rediscovered, and for the future we continue to build together. Our story is one of hope, a reminder that even in the face of deep hurt and betrayal, there is a path forward. It is a path paved with forgiveness, understanding, and an unwavering commitment to each other. In the quiet moments, I often reflect on the remarkable transformation of our relationship. From the ashes of our past, we have built something beautiful, something stronger and more resilient than I could have ever imagined. It is a testament to the power of love, to its capacity to heal and to transform. Our journey is far from over. There will be challenges ahead, moments of doubt and fear. But we face them together, with the knowledge that we have weathered the storm and emerged stronger. We move forward with hope, with love, and with the unwavering belief that no matter what the future holds, we will navigate it together, hand in hand, heart to heart. Under the starlit sky, a profound peace settled over us, a gentle reminder of the transformative power of love and forgiveness. The challenges we had faced together had not only tested our bond, but had ultimately served as the catalyst for a deeper, more authentic connection. We had traversed a tumultuous sea and found our harbor, not by escaping the storm, but by navigating through it, together. In the quiet of that evening, a realization dawned on me, a realization about the nature of love itself. Love, I understood, was not a mere emotion, a fleeting feeling that could ebb and flow with the tides of circumstance. Rather, it was an active choice, a decision to commit, to work through difficulties, and to support one another unconditionally. This choice was not made once, but continually, every day, in the small acts of kindness, understanding, and patience that defined our relationship. Our conversation eventually turned towards the practical aspects of our future together. We spoke of renewing our vows, a symbolic gesture to mark the beginning of this new chapter in our lives. This time, the words would carry a weight and significance born of our shared experiences, a testament to the strength and resilience of our love. We envisioned a simple ceremony, surrounded by the people who had stood by us, supported us, and believed in the possibility of our reconciliation. We also discussed our commitment to maintaining the health of our relationship. We agreed to continue attending therapy sessions, not as a remedy for crisis, but as a tool for growth and understanding. We recognized the importance of open communication, of creating a space where vulnerabilities could be shared without fear of judgment or reprisal. This commitment to transparency and honesty, we knew, would be the cornerstone of our continued happiness. As the night drew to a close and we made our way back into the warmth of our home, I felt a surge of hope for the future. The path forward was not without its uncertainties, but we were equipped with the knowledge that whatever challenges we might face, we would face them together. In the days and weeks that followed, the sense of renewal and optimism that had enveloped us that night under the stars began to permeate every aspect of our lives. We approached each day with a renewed sense of purpose, a desire to live fully and love deeply. Our relationship became a source of strength and inspiration, not just for us, but for those around us. Friends and family remarked on the change, on the palpable sense of joy and contentment that seemed to surround us. Our story, with all its ups and downs, had become a beacon of hope, a reminder that it is never too late to change course, to make amends, and to rediscover the love that binds us. As I reflect on the journey that brought us to this point, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons learned, for the second chances granted, and for the love that has blossomed anew in the heart of our family. Our journey is a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that has not only survived, but thrived in the face of adversity. And so, we move forward, hand in hand, with hearts open to the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. Our love, once tested, now stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a beacon of hope for all who believe in the transformative power of forgiveness and the enduring power of love.